And then like I'll date another Asian girl or Chinese girl, right? And then like they'll be like, yeah, they're like they think that we shouldn't get married. I'm like, why? It's because they know that Japanese guys, they get drunk and they always cheat on their wives all the time. And I'm like, where does this come from? My dad doesn't even drink alcohol, but he does cheat on my mom. But
So here we are off the record again.
We found yourselves off the record.
Went back when you guys were teenagers.
Yeah.
What are some negative stereotypes we heard about each other's ethnicities?
Steve, go.
Okay, easy. Wait. How long do I have? I only have 20 minutes. 20 minutes isn't enough.
Go around the room.
Jesus.
Like real ones that you actually heard that were said seriously.
Okay. Now,
One of the more fucked up
Not
ones
as
that I
joke.
heard is that you guys are really smart.
Boo.
Yeah. That was always fucked up.
Just all the types of Asian
one. Bart's half Taiwanese, right?
Yeah.
I heard that Taiwanese people are extremely cheap.
Is that true?
I think that's actually a true one. Most of the Taiwanese people I know are fucking stingy.
What was the example? Like, was there?
Well, I had a lot of Cantonese friends, and for some reason, I don't know if there's a rivalry or whatever, but they would always roast Taiwanese people, and I never met a Taiwanese person, and then they would just always talk shit about how Taiwanese people are so cheap all the time, and then I was like, it just sounds funny, like they just have a lot of jokes, but I don't know. And I think I did have Taiwanese friends, but I didn't know that they were Taiwanese because I didn't ask. Like, later on in life, I'm like, oh, okay. But that was something I kept hearing over and over.
I always hear that Japanese people are perverts. Seriously? They tell you seriously?
Yeah.
And I grew up and I was like, oh shit.
They are.
Who told you that?
I don't know, just fucking like random like older like kids on the field or whatever, you know what I mean? And they would just be like this fucking Japanese kids stuff and like, you're a pervert. And I would always be like, what? Why is he a pervert? He's Japanese. And I was like, I didn't get it. You know what I mean? You don't get it until you start fucking really watching shit like porno.
That's funny, dude.
The one that I got was Japanese Americans don't speak Japanese.
But that's true.
Yeah, like they don't speak it.
Hey, dude.
Some of them are like 4 gens deep.
I was talking to my sisters. Me and my sister were talking about this, and we were telling my wife about how my grandpa back in the day, he would ask my sisters. He's an old Chinese dude, and he like served in the military. And he was like, "You guys got any friends that are Japanese?" And my sisters were like, "No." He goes, "Good."
What?
What does that mean?
Yeah, dude. He just didn't want. He didn't want.
Good stereotype.
He didn't want any of my sisters to hang out with any Japanese kids.
Yo, it's hardcore though.
Wow.
Because he's from that generation. Though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My Korean friend was having a sleepover, and I was, we were all playing, but I couldn't stay. They were allowed to stay, and I had to go home.
Whoa.
And then,
Japanese?
Yeah, because I was Japanese. And then their grandma didn't like that or whatever. And then, because he was like, sorry, you can't stay. And I was like, why? He goes, my grandma doesn't like that you're Japanese. So I was like, okay, that's fucking weird. And I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I was like telling my mom, I was crying and shit. I was like, they don't like me because I'm Japanese. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, our
She's
people
like, I get
did
it.
something bad to their grandma.
So don't worry, we'll kill them later.
What's their address?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then she goes, don't, she just probably, some people have a hard time letting go or some shit. She told me something as a kid.
Can you imagine blaming a little kid? So incredible.
Yeah.
It runs deep, bro.
Japanese American
So
kid.
crazy, man.
And I was like in 3rd grade, like I was like.
Just so petty. Honestly, it takes petty to a level that I didn't even think was possible, and I respect it now.
And you're petty, Wop.
I'm very petty.
But on the flip side, there were a lot of like, not like Korean, Chinese, Vietnamese grandmas that spoke Japanese because of the colonization, right? They were trying to make them speak Japanese, so they remember when they were kids going to those programs. So then when they knew that I was Japanese, they would speak to me, they would sing songs to me and shit, and I thought that was cool until later I grew up and I'm like, oh, they were in those re-education camps. That's why they know Japanese. Whoa. But they never passed that hate on to me at all. I didn't know because I was a kid. That's the only time that one Korean grandma was upset about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good teachers in those camps. Good teachers.
Most of my racism was learned from my parents, I think.
What did your parents say about Filipinos?
They would tell me Nothing actually. There was nothing bad about Filipinos, but yeah, there's nothing bad about Filipinos.
Wow.
Yeah, it was mainly about like my dad was like when I first got with Gio, he was like, you better watch out. She's gonna like right after kids. It's like it's in the DNA.
She's gonna be fat as fuck.
Balloon up. She's gonna balloon up. She's gonna be like 300 pounds. He's like, just be careful.
That scarred Bart, so he started a gym with her.
That's called preventative. Preventative.
You might want to work out.
Zoom in on that face. Zoom in on that face.
Gio, he said that. Yeah.
His dad, your father-in-law.
Dude, I didn't even know what a Vietnamese was until high school.
Why you gotta say what a Vietnamese was? Like, who says
I had
that?
Vietnamese friends, but like it just didn't. To me, I thought they were all just Chinese.
We all heard that, like, because I had mostly like friends that were Filipino, Korean, Japanese, Chinese. Not really a lot of Vietnamese. But then once I reached high school and we started running into them places, everybody would always tell us to watch out for them.
Oh, that's true.
Because they're crazy.
Oh, Vietnamese are
Because they
crazy.
get down.
They said Vietnamese guys have the craziest temper. Like, you might lose your temper, but you won't go as far as a Vietnamese guy will.
Dude, you guys were raised around hella racism, dude.
Hell yeah, like crazy.
For sure.
So much racism.
It's true. And then they were like, because then a lot of fights would happen, and then people would just assume, oh, it's just Viet guys.
My mom always told me like, if you're around white people, you better act right because they're gonna sue your ass.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my mom said the same thing.
She's like, you better not fuck around.
That's why we
They know the law and they will sue your ass.
we wouldn't really have white kids come over because we were scared their families would sue us if something
That's
happened.
so funny.
Yeah, my whole family was scared.
Yo,
of
my
that.
mom told me never get into a fight because she doesn't want to get sued.
But other white people,
By other white people.
Yeah. Oh no, I was raised. That's funny. But I was raised around everybody, so like, they're just like, don't fucking fight anybody, or we'll get sued.
Wow.
They're scared shitless.
also some of the stereotypes, it's interesting like how it's formed. Because where I grew up, my first house I could really remember, my next door neighbor was a Filipino family, but they were like a Filipino cholo family. So I always thought Filipinos were only cholos, because they were like like the shorts down to here, white socks, and then there was the one they would like teach me how to like tag with like sidewalk chalk on the ground. So they would like fucking tag up the whole sidewalk and shit. And then so like I thought all Filipinos were cholos until I realized no, that's wrong. They're actually all break dancers. And I learned that.
Yeah.
And then I also
That's true.
And then Vietnamese was a new one because growing up in Cerritos, all the Vietnamese I knew were like second or third generation, and I didn't know that they had like a refugee type culture until I came here, and I was like, holy shit! A lot of these guys just came here like fucking last week, and they don't give a fuck.
Hey, you know what I learned about? You know what I heard about Filipinos when I was in high school? It was the most fucked up thing I heard. Like, hey, dude, Filipino dudes all leave their wives.
Oh shit! Oh, I heard about the Korean dudes all beat their wives.
Hey, I heard that too.
Oh shit, beat and leave. Are
Oh,
two
you know
different
what?
things, but yes.
I've heard a lot of racism from girls that I've dated from their parents. Like, she would be like, yeah, my mom thinks that you're gonna beat my ass because you're Japanese. Oh shit. I'm all like, what?
Steve's like, where the fuck did you guys go?
I think I dodged a bullet.
And then like I'll date another Asian girl or Chinese girl, right? And then like they'll be like, yeah, they're like they think that we shouldn't get married. I'm like, why? It's because they know that Japanese guys, they get drunk and they always cheat on their wives all the time. And I'm like, where does this come from? My dad doesn't even drink alcohol, but he does cheat on my mom. But he doesn't drink alcohol.
Where does this come from? You know what's crazy is I have heard that stereotype too about Filipinos, but I couldn't identify with it because when you're Filipino Christian, nobody gets divorced. But then once I started meeting more Filipinos that were not Christian, a lot of them had broken families or dads that would peace out.
It was always dads. It's not just husbands.
It's like Filipino men were like they're like Casanova-ish or like player-ish.
Yeah.
Or athletes, huh?
Even when they're older, or they're like salsa teachers.
You got like 4 or 5 wives. Have
It's
like
that
3.
Spanish culture, bro. Damn, man.
I didn't know that till later.
I honestly just think white people aren't dishonest. Because like you guys are raised in this, and it's like, oh, all these Japanese people, all these Filipino, all these Vietnamese people, and like when I'm growing up, none of that. It's like nobody wants to admit it. Maybe I don't fucking know.
No, it's because you got to go back to Europe where people are like the Dutch, the Irish, the Scottish.
Oh right.
You know what I mean? But like over here, it's just white.
right?
Yeah, like Irish people, they get drunk and they fight or whatever.
Yeah.
The Italians are like, or like the French are romantic.
Yeah, but over here, Italians, Irish, Germans, they're all just white.
There's also a strange thing where like I think it's like when you're first gen American and your family's from Asia, they're gonna tell you things not in the reason that you should hate them, but it's for you to watch out because the odds are against you.
But that is racist.
It is racist.
It's like they're all like this, so watch out.
It's racist as hell.
And it's racist, but it comes from like pure uneducated stupidity.
Yes, yeah.
Like my grandma, right? Like I think it was the first year she was in the States. She didn't know anything about slavery. She didn't know anything about that. We just lived in a black neighborhood. She thought there's so many Africans that came here. She doesn't know.
Yeah.
She's like, we're in an African neighborhood. And that's what she would tell all her friends. Like, oh yeah, we live in kind of like a little Africa.
Little Nairobi.
Because she thought that America was literally just a big melting pot where there's Chinatown, there's little Tokyo, there's all that, right? So she's like, yeah, there's so many like...
She thought they're just all first gen immigrants?
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
My parents would always be like, we're Chinese, right? He goes, both my mom and my dad would tell me separately, like, don't work for Chinese people. They're cheap. Just don't work for them.
Dude, I've heard that from my Chinese friends.
Yeah, like they would just tell me that.
Completely true.
But you know, I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule. And then my mom would always say stuff to me like, and we've actually talked about this before, but like my mom used to always be like you need to wear a sweater. Like you're gonna get cold. You're not like those white or black kids. You're gonna get sick.
They're really strong.
Yeah. Like they would say things like that to me growing up in a weird way where I would just like have this weird complex.
Like, am
of,
I
like,
a bitch?
Yeah, dude. And now you would think like, and then in my dad's eyes, he'd be like, yeah, like dude, those black guys on the court, like you just can't stop them. Like that's how he would talk. He would just talk about how like black dudes are just really good at basketball and like really hard to guard. Like he would just say that, like that was his thing.
Hey, positive racism, I'm here all day for it. Like I'm down, dude.
These guys are so quick, like you just can't stop them. Like you try to move your feet, you can't get in front of them because you like love basketball. Like that was his lens.
That's like
Positive racism is really funny,
when I watch like any Asian TikTok of a guy who's like, you know what, I'm Asian and I'm not a doctor. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Shut up.
Fuck up. You're right. Yeah, people assume you're smart and you're educated.
That's like a bad stereotype.
Holy shit! How will you ever make it?
The only time that's like used wrong is when someone's trying to discredit you working hard at something, and they're like, "You didn't even have to fucking try. You're Asian."
You're like, all right. Nah, that's true.
But even then, like, if you just
Yeah, that's how you gotta deal with it.
if you want to compare it to the discrimination Olympics, we don't have it as bad as some other groups. Like, it's like, wow, the shit they're fucking accused of. It's like, well, shit. What about gypsies that are like, oh, you're coming from a culture that just steals all day and cheats people?
You can't say gypsies.
Yeah, you can't even say that
Can't say
anymore.
What are they? Like travelers or something?
I think they have an actual.
But you know, it's
home
like,
country.
think about that. Like, it's like, imagine if you have this stain of like, it's like Asian kids are crying about, oh, you have a stain of being a doctor intelligent. Imagine if you fucking born and people think you're from a culture of theft and crime, and like
That's so
and,
swag.
And you have to wake up every day going like, everyone thinks
Like
that
the
I'm gonna
Italians.
steal someone. Yeah, steal some shit, do some crime, not be. You know, it's like. You're untrustworthy, like all that shit. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You know what I love? It's like, so we just came out of the Christmas season and shit like that, or the holidays. And, you know, as I'm at Trader Joe's or anywhere, and it's like, people are like, Merry Christmas. I'm like, oh, okay, Merry Christmas or whatever. Or Happy Holidays, Happy Holidays. You can say that to any Chinese person, and you can say Happy New Year to any Chinese person, right? And they're just like, Happy New Year. But they're not like, my New Year is in fucking a month. I never heard that in my life.
Actually, it's in February.
That's not my fucking New Year. Actually, you never heard that.
恭喜發財
That's true. Yeah, you wouldn't.
Actually, it's a February.
And it's been celebrated that way for thousands of years.
Exactly. They have their own New Year. People say Happy New Year. They just say Happy New Year back. But
know.
everyone flips the fuck out about their
Mayans don't
identity.
flip out.
Yeah. Everyone's like, I don't say Merry Christmas.
They won't say Happy St. Patty's Day back to you, though. I bet you watch.
Okay, I'll try
They
it.
probably don't even know what you said.
Good test.
Anybody else racist at all? No, I just mean, you know, it's just like, what other times? I remember actually hearing my, like my family, they'd be like, yeah, Filipino food's not that good.
Oh, they're so wrong.
That's what they'd say.
They're so
But they never fucking had it. Like they would.
Or they had like a bad batch.
Yeah, they're just talking out their fucking ass, dude.
Do you guys remember this? You know, back in the day, right? When things went viral, it was like email chains or some shit. So like they'll
If
be
you
like
don't email this, you'll have bad luck for 12 years.
no, yeah, like that, and then they would forward it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There was one about like which Asians hate each other, like which Asians hate which Asian, right? They'll be like, oh yeah, Koreans hate Japanese, and then the Vietnamese hate this, and then all this stuff, and then it goes, but Chinese, they hate Chinese, and that was like the punchline.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the stereotype of like everyone has rivals, but the Chinese, no one hates the Chinese more than the Chinese hate the Chinese.
That's funny.
That's true. We're good at that, bro.
For
It's-
real, because
it's
and
not
it's
wrong.
the funniest stereotype because like I'll just be eating dinner like at my Chinese friend's house or like we're at a restaurant or whatever, and out of nowhere they just start talking shit about Chinese people, and that's the funniest shit to me because I'm just sitting here giggling, and then they're like, "Fuck, wow, Chinese people are so ugly, man," and I'm all like, "You're Chinese."
You know how hard it was?
I'm like, "What the fuck? And where does this come from?" And then one time I was eating hot pot with my friend's dad, right, and he's all like, "Ah, I'm never gonna hire Chinese. Don't fuck it." And you kind of reminded me of that because you just said it, but it was like same fucking thing. He's like, "Don't trust Chinese. They're gonna fucking steal your business." And I'm all like, "But you're Chinese."
That's like similar to when because the diversity is so large, like in China itself. Like if you go to the Philippines, you'll see a lot of people that don't like Visayans or don't like Ilocanos. Like it's just tribal.
But that makes sense because it's not like it's like a different group, right? That's like saying you're from Boston, you don't like someone from New York, but you're not saying fuck Americans. You know what I mean? Like
This continent's so whack, man.
By the way, most of us hate people from Boston. White people.
I don't know
Really?
why, but
Oh yeah.
in the
Massholes.
I think it's like in
Massholes.
in the 562, maybe it's just Lakewood and Cerritos. For some reason, there was like an unspoken thing that Filipinos and Cambodians didn't like each other.
Oh, for sure that was a thing.
Nobody knew why.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
I don't know. Maybe just like a beef between two very popular people that just like everyone wanted to copy them.
No, it was there. You guys were fighting for the title of best jungle Asian.
You know who the least self-loathing Asian or Chinese person that I know is Taika Kwan.
are you Mexican?
Nope, I'm Chinese.
You got that Steve confidence.
He just put a whole country in the garbage.
I'm Chinese.
Yeah. I think about that randomly in my head so many times.
Nope, I'm Chinese.
So killer. Such a killer line.
Dude, growing up, it was confusing because my mom would constantly talk shit about Chinese people. And I'm like, bitch, you Chinese? Like, what are you talking about? So us growing up, I'd be like,
It made me
mad
feel like
at
Chinese was like the worst race.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not as strong as these people. I'm not as
Yeah.
smart as these people. I'm not as disciplined as these people. These guys got better genes. It was like, I was like, why am I even living, dude?
Why are you so bummed out?
I never heard anything bad about Chinese people, but I had
It's only from Chinese people.
yeah, I had the looming feeling that Chinese was just the default.
That's true.
Chinese was default because also the rest of non-Asian people are always like, "What kind of Chinese are you?" Regardless, like as long as you had this, you're Chinese.
Hey, whoa.
That's gonna go viral.
Hey, also, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room, guys. Little dicks are in, all right?
Hey, whoa. Don't speak.
You gotta go like this though.
Why are you pointing at me?
Was it like this?
Yeah, it's like that.
Little dicks are in.
I do have a really funny story about one of my teammates. His name is Kenny Huang. He's a Taiwanese man.
Okay.
He used to fight. He's an accountant, right? This motherfucker, after one of his fights, he knocked some dude out, right? As soon as he finished knocking the guy out, he walked around the cage and he just did this.
Why?
What?
I don't know, but because he's just, if you ever met
Chinese power.
him, if you ever met him,
That's
you would be like,
kind of funny.
he's that guy. But he's just so fucking funny. He just walked around and was like, after he just knocked some guy out.
Fucking funny though.
That's a great celebration, though.
A Chinese man doing Chinese eyes.
I wonder what the new things are that like, let's say parents of teenagers that are second gen Asian in Cali. Like, I wonder what they tell their kids about other races if they even do.
I'm
Well,
sure.
the new thing, like even when I was in college, like a new stereotype that I would hear would be like, "Oh man, Asians are really good dancers, thanks to you guys."
Dude, that's probably the sickest fucking thing to happen in my lifetime.
Best thing that ever happened to Asians.
Well, that's fucking crazy because I never grew up with that because you guys set that new stereotype.
was,
you know?
Well, it was happening in high school too.
They're good dancers or they're power lifters because of this guy.
You know the show Blackish?
Yeah.
They licensed a clip of us to show in the pilot episode when the main character's mad that Asians took dance from black people.
Oh, that's tight.
But it's like a positive thing. It's like he's like, man, that used to be the black man's thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I never thought in my lifetime that could ever, like, the tide could change on
That's
that.
pretty crazy.
Cause I remember fucking like Power Rangers like Mastodon, that fool's fucking body rolling and shit.
Yeah, dude, he was body rolling in between kicks. and
Hip hop
shit.
keto, dude. That's what he called it.
Hip hop keto.
The Black Ranger. He goes like this.
Yeah, he was doing that shit.
Why you gotta throw the ginger bang out there? You just subconsciously.
Delete that, editor.
No, I think there are a lot of really cool new stereotypes. That's awesome.
Oh, I miss racism though.
Imagine that's what the parents say. They're like, hey, stay away from that dance floor. There's Asians there.
You don't want to be Chinese.
I can't wait. In 20 years, we're gonna see Asian kids going, "Oh, guess what, guys? And I don't know how to dance."
Exactly, with tears in their eyes.
Yeah. Not all of us are good dancers.
Trying to
Guess
be a
what,
doctor.
guys? I'm a doctor and I can't dance.
So good.
I'm so rebellious.
Pause for laugh. Okay, now you can continue.
Oh, God.
Fucking A.
Pause break.
Fucking A.
And my dick's huge.